You know, whenever you get a vision, it's never what you are, it's what you to become. So whenever I started seeing my life in the future, in farsight, I stopped looking at who I was and more so to who I was going to become, you know.
Justin was really, really talented. He wasn't a hard worker back then, but he was real, real talented. But I've watched Justin grow up from a boy and go through a lot to the man that he is today.
So Justin's mantra he kind of always goes by is shock the world. But I think more so what he means by it is shocking the world in what he does day to day to impact people's lives.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, showtime. Push. Look at that, man. Push. Good.
I run the 100-meter. My aspirations are to become an Olympic qualifier in 2020. So if you run a 10.3 or below, then you're invited to take place in the trials. And those are speeds that I'm more than capable of reaching.
He is definitely built for track to be able to go very fast from 0 to 100 very quickly.
You know, it's a lot of little things that we're gonna make sure he has, but there's no doubt in my mind that Justin could be in the 2020 Olympics.
Being healthy after so many things is by far the biggest blessing.
I think he came down with a sickness and he couldn't finish his college career.
Meningitis is an infection in the lining around your brain. 5 students contracted meningitis, 2 of them died.
As a result of that awful outbreak in the state of Louisiana.
I think that at that point in time was a wake-up call for him.
Justin and I have talked about his goals a good bit. I think he still has some big goals ahead that he wants to accomplish within track and field. But I think more than that, I think in the past year even that I've known him, that his focus has kind of shifted his calling more so than just being a track athlete has been what he's been doing with the youth in the Upper Lafayette area.
After meningitis, I recovered and I started going back to school where I could just sit down and say, well, you get to evaluate, is this where you really need to be going right now? Is this the direction you need to be headed?
Justin has been with us for 3 years. He's a male role model for our students. A lot of our students want to be like him. So he's a great inspiration to all our students.
Mr. Justin, that's my brother, my mentor. He is like above and beyond, like a superhero.
He is like a mentor in my life.
Ooh, he a life changer. A life changer. A life changer.
So it took me about 3 years to recover from meningitis. Needless to say, the doctors and physicians and neurologists didn't really expect for me to recover at the level to be competing in a 100-meter or 60-meter. They just couldn't see that happening again after so much damage internally, like muscle fatigue, short-term memory loss, just critical thinking failure, because I couldn't hold a train of thought for long enough to be able to think it through at first.
So he actually dedicated himself to coming back on the track, and I mean, he put in work. He really dedicated himself to making sure that he could qualify for USA's. He tore his patella tendon, and that took him out for a year. He came back, he still ran, and healed that up, came back again. I mean, the guy doesn't stop. And of course, I can't say enough about what he's doing in the community.
Because his stories were crazy. I only believe because I saw him do it. He was saying, this is what I'm doing, this is how hard I'm working, this is what I went through.
Needless to say, God is very good, man. Just giving me hope, believing in Christ, giving me hope. Turned out perfectly fine. I actually started competing again in about 2013 or 2014. And before I started training, like a day like today, I went USA Standard. So my coach was like, hey, you need to start training for real. God is doing something with you. And he was like, you need to make an Instagram to show like somebody gonna wanna know your story.
Our young men on the north side of Lafayette, they won't get what we want them to be unless they see someone in that position.
Well, he obviously knows his mission and his purpose, teaching people, showing people never to give up, continue to pursue your dreams. Everything won't be easy, and I think that's what he's trying to give back to the youth.
The north side and stuff.
He talked to me about a lot of things, because he's been there and done that, you know. We had a lot of talks about, you know, I don't know, something I was going through that he'd been through already.
And Mr. Justin is like a lighthouse in the community, because he really brings a lot of positivity into Lafayette.
I feel like that the community is good, but we need more like leaders and more people to stand up for young kids and don't know which way to go. So I feel like we need more mentors and stuff to lead them into the right direction.
So prior to meningitis, I was only going to school to be a teacher. I had not much further aspirations as far as the youth was concerned. Meningitis gave me a long pause to where I was able to, do the digging inside to see where it was that I was going to do it the rest of my life. I didn't necessarily want to teach, but I knew I was still going to be in education. But what I can do is bridge the gap between the community and the school board. So that's really what you're looking for. That's the purpose I found in not becoming a teacher, but still teaching.
He has his own version of Clearport pretty much that he's doing for like the younger kids in like elementary school.
A nonprofit organization that I launched called Little Disciples Enrichment, and I was fully funded for 40 kids over my last segment of 7 weeks, and it was tremendously successful. So now I'm doing the paperwork and the documents to have a full program for the rest of the school year, in which directly after school they'll just come and see me. They're required to do an hour worth of tutoring every time they visit me. That's first and foremost.
Y2.
Justin is a great asset to the community. We have a lot of teenage boys here, so that impact, there's a need there, and he meets the needs for those students.
He just has a positive attitude, and you just want to portray that positive attitude. You want to be like that.
And I put it to you like my pastor told me. He was like, because of your setbacks and what you decide to do with your life and overcome for the glory of God, you were able to gain this and all this territory that God enlarged you with. If I don't qualify, oh man, I'm perfectly fine with that. I can be okay with not qualifying for the Olympics as long as I make it to the Olympic trials to prove that I was able to do everything, everything that I set out to do.
I think he can be there. I think Justin has the work ethic. He has the talent. He has the ability. He's the one. We know that. Everybody knows that. I mean, you could ask anybody in the community. They know Justin Arceneaux. Yeah, Justin. Justin.